Ladies, I have thought long and hard about how to make this video, but I want to share what I am learning and what I know works for sure when it comes to dating. I was very hesitant at first to make this video because I didn't want to come across sounding boastful or conceited or like I've just got the men chasing me. But the truth is, at my age, at 47, I currently have 5 men messaging me constantly, and I have the potential to have many more. Some of them have just dropped away because I'm not interested. I can't keep up with all the messaging. I don't have the time to actually verify and check all of their Facebook profiles. And finally, at this age and stage in my life, I have come to understand what actually works when it comes to dating. And I want to share that in a video. I want to make this video like what I would tell my younger self if I could go back in time. Because, ladies, when I was 25, 26, I was battling to know how to date and how to have that juicy interplay between the male and the female. Because at that stage in my life, I was buying what people were telling women. You've got to be independent, you need to work hard, earn the money, equal 50-50. Women are equal to men, as good as men. The relationship must be 50-50. And I kind of thought, well, that makes sense. I mean, we're both equal in value. We both deserve equal respect, which I still fully believe. But at that stage, what no one told me, what I didn't know, what no one had taught me was that femininity, being a feminine woman, has so much power. And I didn't even know how to lean into that feminine power because I thought I needed to be sort of prim and proper and prude to be a lady. Or I would then swing the other way when I got a little bit of attention and it was like happening. I thought, whoa, I better like lock it down. And then I would act, sorry to say, but like a slut. And I gave my most precious thing, my body, my being. I just gave it away because I was battling so much with knowing how to flirt, how to be a woman, how to be ladylike, how to say no thank you. So I just thought, well, if he's asking and he bought me a drink and he's telling me I look beautiful, well, I don't want to lead him on. So if I have shown interest and then I don't go through with it, I'm a tease. I'm leading him on, and that's not nice. And I actually believed some of the hype that you get told as a woman, that he can't handle himself, he can't wait, it's rude to make him wait. If you've shown interest, like, you need to continue on. And I was just a disaster. Let me rewind back to when I was at that age. At that age, I was working different jobs. Eventually, I worked in a jewelry store, but I was hopeless. I didn't know what I was doing with men. Like I said, I wasn't very confident either. So I didn't know what I was doing. I wasn't confident. Unfortunately, I didn't believe I was beautiful. And looking back, I was. I mean, I was in my 20s, the prime of your beauty. But I also have had a glow up since then. But that's a video for another day. But in this video, I want to actually impart some wisdom that I learned. So the first book that kind of opened my eyes and taught me a little bit of wisdom was The Rules. You need to buy that book. You need to Google that book. Ladies, you must read it. Now, it is a bit antiquated. There are some old-fashioned things in there. So you need to work with that book with your own feelings and instinct in mind. But that book was a godsend. It stopped me from doing all the wrong things. I was approaching dating like friendship, like the way I would approach a friend. I would be forthcoming. I would message back. I would be polite. I would say how I feel. I would share my feelings. I was honest and open. And if he wanted to see me, it would just be an immediate yes. I didn't ever act busy or had anything to do. So I actually got myself into a terrible situation where I didn't realize he had another girlfriend, and this guy would just rock up whenever. Only later did I discover the truth. And I remember eventually starting to wonder, why do we never go out in public? Why have I not met his friends? Why does he not want to meet my friends? Like, what's going on here? So I got myself into all the wrong situations by being the friendly girl, the easygoing girl, the good time girl. But I didn't know that that's how men were seeing me. I thought I was being nice, and I knew I was a nice, good girl. I had had a good upbringing, but no one had taught me how to navigate the sexual, romantic interplay, the relationship between a man and a woman, because to me, you were either considered a whore or a Madonna, a pure virgin. And I didn't know how to navigate the in-between to get men to see me as the prize that I am without being too prudish or without just giving it away. So the rules came along. Now, looking back, I can see that I took the rules, which was wonderful at the time. It was a working set of behaviors on how to interact with men, which really did save me. But looking back now, I can see that I was too prudish in my application of the rules. I was too rigid. So yes, the rules helped me meet and catch and get my to-be husband, and he proposed. I did the rules on him, and this guy was one of those like sort of serial bachelors, one of those men who stayed single until he was, when we met, he was 36. By the time we got married, I think he was 37. So he was late to get married, and I didn't trap him. What was the word? What did his friends used to say? They said, what have you done to him? Like, what, you've tamed him. That is the word. They said I tamed him, and I had done nothing other than apply the rules. And quite simply, if I had to boil down the rules in a nutshell, it is don't chase a man. Let the man chase you, in a nutshell. So if you take nothing else away from this video, take these words. This does work. That approach works. Ladies, if a man has shown interest in you, you do not need to chase him. He will come and find you if he's single, if he's available, if he's ready for a relationship, and if you match what he is looking for. He will try and figure out a way to take you on a date, take you for coffee, come speak to you, get your number, slide into your Instagram DMs or whatever app you're using at the time you watch this video. If a man thinks you are beautiful or hot or attractive, he'll find a way to talk to you. There is no such thing as a shy man. Now, sometimes there is a shy man, but even the shy men will make a move. What you need to do though, and maybe this is where the rules were so rigid when I did them, I didn't make myself seem interested enough often. So the kinds of men that obviously would get through my rules, my performing of the rules, were those that chased relentlessly. Now I've come to realize that you can and should, in fact, show interest when he approaches you, but it's the right amount. It's the right amount. Don't ever let your interest overtake to the point where it seems that you are chasing him. That is the second, like, golden rule. Rule number one, never chase a man. What that means in reality, and that's what I hope to explore on this channel, is don't initiate text conversations. Don't even go and talk to a man. If you are in a public setting, a bar, a club, a pub, whatever, restaurant, your job, and I know this sucks, you're intelligent and you think, how can this be in this day and age? But it is true, it works. I'm telling you from actual lived experience, and I didn't believe it until I've tried it, and I've had 20 years of applying this, and it does work. Your job, unfortunately, is to sit there and look pretty. And I know it just seems like we are wasting our brain's cells, but just remember, there is so much that goes into looking pretty that you can actually apply a lot of your intelligence, ladies, to the very act of creating this. Either it's a persona or putting together a whole fashion wardrobe that's feminine, flirty, sensual, attractive, not too revealing, not giving the wrong message. There is actually a lot of science and psychology behind it all, and we can certainly get into that in future videos. And there are a lot of channels here on YouTube, and I will actually recommend channels that have helped me. I'll tell you what I think of them. I'll actually tell you whether I've applied what they say, how it's worked out for me. So some of the channels go over the top with the fashion and the elegant styling and the wardrobe and the whole, like, the fancy dresses and the shoes. In my own life, in my country, South Africa, where I live, in my town, no one is walking around wearing elegant ball gowns, and you would look ridiculous if you did. So you also have to take what some of these feminine, elegant teaching channels tell you and apply it to your situation, where you are, where you live. For me, to wear heels every day is not practical and it would look ridiculous most of the time. But I can apply that in terms of I can wear a very low-heeled boot with jeans. So it's not heels, but it's still a little bit feminine, elegant, and it just gives you that little bit of an extra like oomph to your outfit. Most of the time, I am walking around wearing flats, and what you can do in the case, like if you have to wear flats or you just feel more comfortable in flats, just make sure they are not the most ugly, plain, boring, like Crocs or Birkenstocks or, very simple flip-flops. You can do your flats in a very feminine way, make them pretty, make them dainty. You can do a flat with a small little heel. So ultimately, when you're thinking of how to look, because that, sorry to say, really is the most important thing when it comes to attracting a mate, is looking a certain way. And the most important thing is to look feminine. You need to dress in a way that a man could never, ever dress, that a man wouldn't want to dress, well, unless he's a gay man or something, or drag queen. So you can wear pants. It's not that you can't wear pants. You don't have to always wear dresses, but you need to wear pants that are feminine, form-fitting, figure-hugging, maybe a nice soft material that is tactile and like velvety or suede or anything that is sensual. You could wear pants that are with a lot of bling on them. You could, like the jeans with the blinged up pockets. Skirts are always fantastic. Men love a woman in a dress. They just do. Take it from me, personal experience, when I wear dresses and heels, I get a lot of compliments. So men do love the traditional feminine look, the traditional feminine clothing that we see on movies, on posters, billboards, magazines, adverts. You know what it looks like, and they do, they love it. But you don't need to look like a model. Here's the catch. I am 47. I am not a model. Yes, I am slim. I go to gym. I do my very best with what I have, but I do it for me. Number one, you mustn't do it just for the man. Whatever your body shape, ladies, whatever your body shape, a man will find that body shape attractive. Embrace it, love it, show it off, wear form-fitting clothes that fit your body. If you have wide hips, celebrate that. That is sexy and sensual. Accentuate your waist with a belt to make your hips look wider. Men go wild for that. Pair that with some heels and he will be like, wow, So all you need to do, and this is the thing that unlocked confidence for me, is you don't need to be the prettiest. I'm certainly not. You don't need to look like a model. But what you need to do, what you must do, if you want success with the opposite sex, with men, and now in this video, I'm talking about heterosexual relationships. I'm not talking about any other kind. That's all I know. That's what I do. I'm a heterosexual woman. What you must do, ladies, is make the best of what you have. And what you have, you can absolutely do amazing things. If you have eyes, you can enhance them with makeup. You can define their shape. Now, I have eyes that are typically not considered in the world of modern aesthetics the ideal. My eyes are downward sloping. But I watched a makeup tutorial where she was talking about how beautiful the sort of downturned eye is. And I was like, yes, it actually is. And I've never had a problem. Men love my eyes. They say that they are big. I have green eyes, which is not really something they notice, but I accentuate my eyes. I've got naturally very long lashes. If I don't wear mascara, you don't notice them. But if I come closer, you can see I always enhance my lashes with mascara, especially for a date or if I'm looking to attract attention. So you can make the best with what you have. I don't have fox eyes. I don't have these slanty, beautiful eyes that are so in fashion when you look at the Instagram faces. What I have done as well, and I'll just give you the actual practicalities, is I have used lip filler. Naturally, my top lip is very thin. Naturally, I would have a very gummy smile. So for me, filler has been a godsend. I have done work, ladies. I have done work on myself, subtle things and not so subtle things. These are not mine. After I breastfed my son, they were empty, they were small. And I remember looking in the mirror and thinking, right now my chest looks like a 12-year-old boy, and I wasn't happy with that. So I got implants. Now, I'm not saying you need to go and do surgery, but you can do things to enhance the way you look. If for you it just means wearing a push-up bra or a padded bra, that's enough. Once down the line you guys get into the bedroom and eventually that padded bra comes off, he's not even going to notice how big or small your boobs are. He's just going to be thanking God that he's in bed with a naked woman. So put your insecurities aside. Ladies, the men don't care as much as you think they do about cellulite, wrinkles, saggy skin, age spots, sunspots, whatever you think is imperfect on you and on your body, they are not even noticing. If they have put in time, effort, and energy to chase you, to get you to go out on a date, to hunt you down, and then to woo you into maybe we call it a relationship. I don't know if that's what you would label it at first, into some kind of a dating scenario where you guys are going on regular dates. If he's put in all that effort and eventually it has led to the two of you being intimate in the bedroom, by that stage, no matter what your physical flaws, he thinks you are a goddess. And I know this to be true because I see all my own physical flaws, but the men I've been with since I've started doing this approach to dating see no flaws. And even if you point them out, they still think you're a goddess. And I honestly would never have thought that in my 20s. In my 20s, I thought I would just be lucky to get some kind of male attention. So just to follow my story, got married. Anyway, that marriage was not a good marriage. I was so young, and when I applied the rules, I was so nervous and like, whoa, this guy's interested in me and he's got a business and he's good looking and he's everything I think I could have wanted, which unfortunately I was too invested. And yes, I did all the rules properly and he proposed, but I wasn't vetting him in terms of will he make a good husband. So yeah, the marriage didn't work. There were some traits that I could have, looking back, seen. So I could have actually picked differently, but things work out. He gave me my son, and my son is my most treasured thing I have ever given birth to, had the pleasure of doing, raising. My son is my son. My son is my son. He is my sunshine. So I have no regrets. But I learned a lot from that relationship where I applied these rules from the book, The Rules. And now you get the rules for online dating, the rules for different things. So these two women, Ellen Fine and Sherry Schneider, had written the book. Nowadays, you get a whole lot of dating books if you go onto Amazon or wherever you buy your books. Be careful of the books and of the YouTube psychologists or gurus who tell you that you need to do stuff in the beginning of the relationship to attract the man. There is one channel here that I want you to stay away from. I've listened. He makes points that seem valid, that seem like they make sense. His name is Orion Taraban, and his channel name is Psych Hacks. Now, he offers interesting insights, but I would disagree with him wholeheartedly when it comes to relationships. He proposes that the woman makes herself almost like, indispensable to the man. She's got to like ingratiate herself into his life, got to worm her way in. She's got to be available, help him out, like almost start to maybe do favors for him. And she becomes so part of his, like she worms her way in that he can't get rid of her. Now, to me, that is terrible advice. And he also advises women to give up early on the creamiest milk that they can. And you know what that means. Give up our most precious thing, our bodies, to men early on, because he says rich, powerful men have access to all the you know what in the world. But to me, that doesn't make sense. Well, you can do that, but that relationship will not be one where he adores you. And what I want for you ladies is to find a relationship where the man adores you. Don't you want that? I want that. That is what I want. And that is what I am getting. After my marriage ended, I dated again, and I, after a while, found another lovely and amazing man who cherished and adored me. Unfortunately, there were a few little things in that relationship that didn't work out. Again, one or two things I maybe could have and should have spotted, but he was doing his best to also look perfect to me, which is sometimes a problem. You need to really be careful when the men try and present their best self all the time. You need to really see who they really are. And I mean, this guy was great. It was one of the better relationships I've ever had, to be honest, because of the way he treated me. You hear videos talk about princess treatment. I received that in spades in that relationship. And it showed me that I am worthy of it. I deserve it. The relationship felt very nurturing for me. And when a relationship is like that, and that is what I want for you, you as the feminine woman can relax into your femininity and receive that male protection, providing, and he will profess. And I've heard that on another channel. Her name is Lisa Glamour or Lisa Glamour. She's French, so she speaks with an accent. And she always says, a man that is into you and in love with you, he will profess his love, he will provide, and he will protect you. And these 3 P's, I also want you to burn these into your head. It is true. So what I want to share with you ladies today, why do I think now at 47, I'm getting so much male attention? I'm single again, and I haven't yet been single for even a year, but I've gone back onto Tinder. But a lot of the men that are currently in my orbit, let's put it that way, they are not from Tinder. There's from the gym. There's from, I just met him in a bar, restaurant, kind of clubby, pubby vibe, where it's at a country club where they play golf. He actually basically almost ran up to me and asked for my number. Why do I think this is happening now at this age where I'm at my oldest, probably don't look my absolute best? I think it's because I am more confident. I've come to a point where I know my body, my sensuality. I know even if I gain weight, it actually doesn't detract from my sexuality, my sensuality, and my beauty. So I want you to also remember, it doesn't matter what weight you are. A lot of us feel, we're not so good, we're not looking our best, we look terrible, and then we just don't want to go out. We want to hide at home in our gown and pajamas. And in fact, the night that guy came up and asked for my number, I was in that kind of headspace. I wasn't going through a good patch in my life, but I forced myself. I got dressed, I looked my best for that moment in time, and I went out, and there you go. So just being out, socializing, mingling, but with the mindset of, I am the shit. You need to have that mindset no matter what you think you look like. You need to have the mindset of, damn, I'm fine. I am the shit. Not to be boastful, not to be vain, but to go out with that. Just have that, wear that as a mindset. I want you to wear that as a mindset. You need to do that. Look in the mirror and tell yourself that, even if you don't quite believe it, because if you don't think so, why would the man think so? And if you're walking around with the opposite thought in your head, like, oh, I don't look so good, I'm feeling, you are going to naturally shrink. You need to expand yourself, take the time, do your hair, do your makeup. And I know it doesn't quite seem fair for them. They can get ready in 5 minutes, but this is the feminine energy. We, ladies, we are the flower. We are the rose that needs to bloom. So think of, this is how I love this analogy. We are the flower. The men are like the bees, the worker bees. And a flower that's in bloom gives off a beautiful scent. The flower sits there looking beautiful, smelling beautiful, and she attracts. She attracts the worker bees, and they want to come and enjoy her pollen, her nectar. So I love that analogy. You've got to think of yourself as a feminine woman, as the flower. Now, the flower doesn't need to do anything, which I know, again, we want to do something. We want to do something to attract him, to get him to call us, to get him to message us. So when that guy took my number, it took him like 3 days to message me. And I thought, nah, well, whatever. You know, he's either not interested, or he's thought otherwise, or he's met someone, whatever it is. You need to let go of anything in your mind that's going to make you want to message him. So if a man has taken your number, asked for your number, or you were messaging and he stops, it is none of your business why. Don't message him to find out why. Don't check up on him. Don't just pop up and say, hi, thinking of you. Don't do any of those things. I'm finally at a place in my life where I have a son, I'm busy, I'm running around. I actually don't have time to think about why they are or are not messaging me. I know the rule. Don't message men first. Once you are more established with that man, you're in a relationship, you've been dating for a while, occasionally you can start the conversation, especially if you've had many conversations and it's to do with something from before. You know, sometimes you have a string of conversations and something came up, or you need to ask him for help, or something like that. That is fine. But in the very beginning, he needs to think you are so valuable, so busy, so in demand. You don't have time to sit and think and wonder why he is or isn't messaging you. In fact, you are so in demand, you wouldn't have even noticed whether he did or he didn't. That is the attitude and the energy you need to bring to your dating life, which is why I think currently I am in this position where I'm now being pursued, because I'm bringing the right energy. And really, that's what it's about. Dating is all about energy. Confidence in dating is all about energy. Even if you only have this one guy on your radar and you think, well, I'm not busy, I am available, I'm sitting at home wondering why he isn't texting me. What do? You need to get busy, fill your time with other things. If you have to, pace around your room, whatever you need to do to distract yourself from sending him a message, don't do it. You can be responsive. If he messages you, don't jump on and respond within a second. Okay, let me phrase that. You need to make your responses and your response times variable, as if you had a busy life. Sometimes you will respond immediately because you don't want to also seem like you only ever respond in 2 hours or 4 hours or 6 hours. Like, don't be so planned about it. So sometimes you respond immediately. Other times you take an hour. Other times you take 4 hours, because you are not sitting all day on your phone just waiting for him to message. And that is what you need to, even if that's not the truth, that is what you need to project out into the world. So I advise you, when a man messages you, especially if it's the first time, take an hour or two to respond. Just leave that message there. Preferably, what you're going to do is try and hide your online status. So if you can, on WhatsApp or whatever messaging platform you use, if you can go into the privacy settings and not turn off that people can see you're online, turn off when you were last seen, turn off all those things, so that he doesn't even know if you've seen the message or not, or if you're online. I think that's much better. It's also better for your mental space as well. So if you do get 2 or 3 messages and you don't have time to respond, let's say you saw it, you're getting into your car, you're going to drive somewhere, you're not feeling pressure to respond, and he's not thinking, why hasn't she replied? Anyway, so that is the energy you need to bring to dating. That is what I am currently doing, and it's working like a charm. It is not a desperate energy. So let me also say this. This is what works. Never, ever, ever be desperate when you are interacting with men. You need to think of yourself as, and I know this sounds like a cliche, there's a lot of YouTubers that say this, it is true though, you need to think of yourself as the prize. Even if you are not, treat yourself like the prize, walk like you are the prize, talk like you are the prize, and make yourself believe that your time is so valuable. Your time is so valuable that you don't even have time to waste talking to him for too many hours in the beginning, until and unless he has invested some pursuit of you, some chasing of you, he's taken you out on a nice date. You know, just a coffee date is fine. I like to do those in the beginning just to see if I'm interested. But if he wants more of your time, he must invest in a proper date. Ladies, please. Now, for safety reasons, you don't necessarily need to let him come and pick you up unless you trust him. But if he offers and you do feel safe with him, let's say you have friends in common or whatever the case may be, and somehow you know he's a decent guy and he offers to pick you up, let him be chivalrous, let him be the gentleman. This is what I have found, and this is not just my generation. I do believe that this is across the board, all men. They want to feel like men. They want to feel useful. They want to feel purposeful. They want to be able to pull out your chair and you just say, thank you. Let them open the car door for you. Why wouldn't you? It is lovely. It is lovely when a man takes the time to show you that he values you in these very small ways. When he gently puts his hand on your back to lead you into the restaurant or whatever it is, he helps you, he carries your bag, takes his jacket and he gives it to you if you're cold. Let the man do all these things. The other thing, ladies, let him pay for the date. Please, for the love of God, just let him pay. If you get there, let's say he has invited you out on a date, you get there, and now it comes time for the bill, and he asks you to split the bill. A very good phrase to say. I've never had to use it. In fact, men just pay, which is wonderful, because I believe I'm doing all of this pre-date, all of this beautiful feminine energy dance, even in the way I respond, the way I text back. You let him pay for the date. If he asks to split the bill, this is a beautiful phrase that I think you can definitely use. You want to say, oh, my bad, I thought this was a date. And then you split the bill. So that lets him know in a very feminine, polite way that it's a friendship zone if you split the bill. And that's what I believe. I believe that men should pay for the date. And here's why. And I'm going to try and wrap up this video because it is getting a bit long. They should pay for the date because you as the woman, now it doesn't matter if you're 40, 50, 60, you as the woman are the biological creator of life. Your value, your job is inherent in your biology. You bring that, even if you are not intending to have children with this man. But the dating, courting game is all about that. So when you're young, especially for the young ladies, let him pay. Why? Because he is signaling that he wants to provide for you. He is signaling he values you. He values your time. He can provide. He sees you in that level of woman, that you are a woman that he would like to take care of. Because ladies, when you get into a relationship, a marriage, and you have children, you are the one taking time off work. You are the one interrupting your career. You are the one ruining your body for children. You are the one giving up years of your life to be pregnant, to breastfeed, to nurture, to change nappies, to do all of that. So the one that invests the most biologically into having children is the one that doesn't chase, is the one that is the selector. The other one, the male, the one that is in pursuit of the goddess, the creator of life, he is the one that needs to prove himself to you because you are already going to invest so much of yourself if this relationship goes somewhere. So you need to be picky. Think of it like this. You, as the mother of his potential children or the potential mother of his potential children, need to be so picky because when those children come along, you have now protected those children by making a good choice in a husband and a father. And that's really why this whole dance happens in the first place. But the whole dance should still continue in that way, even if you are in your 40s. I'm 47 and I'm still doing that dance with this man. Because why? Because I have a son and I need to find somebody who's going to be respectful, who's going to treat my son well, who's going to treat me well. A woman needs the man to provide that fortress, that safe space for her to raise the babies. And even if you're not going to raise babies, you are the soft place, the heart of the home, the soft place for the man to land. So you bring such a different energy that he needs. He needs it. He will go out and slay those dragons all day for you. And he doesn't even care that he's the provider. He wants to be the provider. If he's a provider man, if he's not that sort of modern feminine man with all these roles blurred, which I find weird, he wants to feel useful because he cannot have children and he can never bring life onto this planet, but he can protect it. And that is his role. That is what he wants to do. So to me, a heterosexual relationship works really well when you play into those biological roles. And finally, at this age, I have learned how to do it. I have learned how to make the best of what I have. I do believe, and here's something that might sound a little bit icky to some of you ladies, men are visual. I do believe they prefer a woman who's in better shape. It is what it is. But you don't need to be skinny if you can make yourself look like you have an hourglass figure. So you can be full-chested, big buttocks. You can be a thick, full, curvy woman, but you still want to try and create the illusion of that feminine shape. That's really what it's about. So it doesn't really matter your weight, but try and dress in a way that gives you an hourglass figure. Even if you have a bit of a belly, men don't care. They don't care. Your butt's a bit flabby, your cellulite, they don't care. What they want is feminine energy. Some of these channels talk about speaking like a feminine lady, but that it doesn't come naturally to me. It's not something that I'm very good at. So if you find that doing a lot of these things is a bit awkward, I encourage you to just be yourself, but think about the feminine energy while you're on a date. So you don't need to be not yourself. If you are a bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? A bit more loud, bold, funny. Tap into what's good about you and what naturally flows from you, but still think about sitting in your feminine energy. Let him, and I know this is also going to sound meek and mild, but let him talk. Let him lead the conversation. Let him even sweat and think of things to ask you. Now, sometimes they don't ask you. They are so nervous that they just talk about themselves on a date, and I found that to be true. That's okay. It's okay. That is your chance to sit there and really suss out who this man is. The less you reveal about yourself, ladies, the safer it is for you. Here's the other thing I found. The more you let him talk and just let him lead and let him be the man, the more he falls in love with you. Honestly, you actually need to do very, very little to get a man to fall for you. In fact, the less you do, the more he's going to fall for you. And that is maybe my closing line, because I see this video is getting long. But currently, what I'm doing now is what's working. You just exist. Your job is to take care of yourself. Your job is to invest your time, effort, and energy into you, into taking care of your appearance, look after your hair, look after your nails, get them done, get them painted. And this is another reason why I believe a man should pay for a date. You have invested so much, and this is what men maybe don't understand. You have invested so much as a feminine woman into your appearance, and it's just how it is. We all do. Our hair costs a fortune. Maybe it's lip filler. Maybe you've had laser treatment on your skin, or peels, or fancy creams, or lotions, or perfume. Doing your nails, whether you do them at home or you get them done in a salon. Maybe you've put self-tan on. Maybe you've, whatever it is that you have invested into yourself, your beautiful bra, your beautiful lingerie, your lovely new pair of high heels, your lipstick, your mascara, all these things cost and they add up. So when he gets to take you in all your glammed up finery out on a date, he is now paying for the pleasure of sitting across from this radiant and gorgeous creature. And that's what you need to think about. You have invested all this time, effort, and energy into looking your best and showing up. The only way you could ruin the date is if you were very aggressive, too forward, too loud, too bullshit, too pushy, too opinionated. And I know, again, it sounds like I'm telling you to have no brain and not think and just sit there. It's not that. I want you to be using your brain, but you are using your brain to suss him out. And that is actually the power of being the mysterious feminine woman. You sit back, you look at him, you let him talk, you show some interest, very interesting, wow, okay. Follow-up questions. Always in the back of your mind, you need to be assessing, is this a man that I can trust? Is he safe? Is he a man of his word? Is he someone that I can see myself genuinely spending time with? That is where you need to be putting your mental energy. Don't try and impress him. He will be impressed if you just look after yourself and show up as the best, most attractive version of you. Remember, he asked you on the date if you get to that point. So he does already like you. So just don't ruin his fantasy. That's all you need to do. Just sit there, look pretty. Don't ruin his fantasy of you, and he will ask you for a second date and then probably a third. Also, the last tip before I go, don't let the dates drag on for too long. This one is in that book, The Rules, and it does work. Have something to do the next day that you need to be home early for or by. Make sure you are keeping the dates not so short that nothing, I mean, that you can't say anything, but short, sweet, and to the point, especially in the beginning. He needs to get to know you slowly over time. Don't go on these marathon 10-hour dates. No marathon 10-hour phone calls or text fest where you've been texting each other all day long, because you don't want him to get sick of you in the beginning. You want him to miss you, crave you, think about you after the date. So ideally, don't be too available afterwards either. Just maintain a little bit of mystery, have some distance. Remember that absence does make the heart grow fonder as well. So I'm going to leave you with all of that in this video. I hope it was helpful. This is why I believe that at 47, I'm starting to master all these things, but also I've come into my own as a woman. I now know my body, I know my worth, I know that I'm not going to waste my time, and I don't want him to waste his time. And this shit works. It just does. It really works. Being the old-fashioned feminine lady really works for dating. So I invite you to use it, don't use it. That's my experience in the real world in today, in 2025. I hope this was helpful. I'll see you guys in the next video. Remember, you are a goddess.